Okay, so we are going to look at some features of the human eye. First, how is the human eye able to view things far away and nearby when the distance between our refractory system, our corneal lens system, and our retina is fixed in the eyeball? And second, what happens when we can't? So why would we need these fancy things called glasses to help facilitate our ability to make crisp, clean images? Okay, so the first thing we want to remember is that, and excuse my drawing, the human eye has, so there's sort of the corneal bump out, and here's our lens, and those are the muscles attached to the lens. So there is a fixed distance between the refractory system and the back of the eye, where the retina is and where the visual information is processed and sent to the brain. Now, we want to make sure that an image formed on the retina is in perfect focus. In fact, we like it so much, we shove all that material away from the fovea, that area in the retina where we try to really get those photoreceptors close to the top. And so we push aside all the other cells to really try to get a nice, crisp image sent to the brain. With this fixed distance, we have an issue, because we've learned this is a converging system in our eye, and we know that as objects move further away from the lens, as the object distance increases in a converging system, the image distance decreases. The image distance decreases. So as objects move further and further away, the image is focused closer and closer to the lens. One can imagine that if I have an object that I'm looking at and I have an image, let's say, here's my object, and I have that image perfectly focused on the retina. If I move this object further away, well, the image is going to move forward. The image distance between the image and the lens decreases. So now it's off the retina. And the rays of light continue to travel backwards, hitting the retina in two different spots, and I get this blurry image. Yet, I know I can look at something close, and I can look at something far away, and they're both clear. So how is it that this is possible given the physics of a converging system? Well, there's a couple possibilities that could be going on. One possibility is that as I increase my object distance, physically, I look at something far away, I can decrease that distance by taking the lens and moving it physically closer to the object. This is how we do things with a camera. Okay, so that also has a fixed distance between the lens and the film. And if I want to focus in on something at a specific location, I adjust where that lens is positioned relative to the object, which gives me a position to get in focus on the fixed screen, the film. Well, our eyeballs do not do that. That'd be a little creepy, right? So if our eyeball was moving forward and backwards as we were focusing, some reading a book and then looked up at our partner further away, we wouldn't want our eyeballs sticking out. I mean, we'd probably be used to it if that's the way it worked, but it still sounds a little creepy to me. So what do we do? What's our other option? Well, when we talked about lenses and how they converging systems and how they refract, we mentioned that the shape of the lens changes where the focal point of that lens is, and if it changes the focal point, it changes where an image would be formed. And so if I need this image, I've taken my object, I've moved it further away, so my image moved closer to the lens, I need to push it back so that it falls on the retina. And if I need to push it back, that means I need those rays of light converging later, which would result in a lens that has a larger focal point, a thinner lens, smoother lens, less curvy lens. So another option is to change the shape of the lens in order for me to change where the object is focused. The image distance so that I always maintain it on the retina. And that's exactly what we do. This is the process called accommodation. Accommodation is the process by which we change the shape of the lens to allow images to be appropriate. And appropriate means on the retina. How do we do that? Well, we have muscles. We have muscles attached to the lens itself that thin or fatten the lens to accommodate where that object is located so that our image distance falls on the retina. So as objects move further away, our lens has to thin. It has to become less curvy. As objects come closer, the opposite is true. So if I were to move this object closer to my eyeball, well, then the image would get pushed behind the lens. And if it's pushed behind the lens, I need to bring it forward. So I need to make my lens curvier, causing the focal point to decrease and those rays of light converging earlier. And so, just to recap that, so as objects move away, my lens thins. As objects move closer, my lens thickens. So this is less curvy, and this is more curvy. All right, I think I spelled those. There we go. All right, so that's what accommodation does. Now, where this works is in those ciliary muscles. So when the ciliary muscles contract, when they contract, the lens thickens or it becomes more curvy. So when the ciliary muscles, and this feels backwards, so I like to write it out, contract, we get a more curvy lens. When the ciliary muscles relax, we get a less curvy lens. All right, so as we look at things far away, our muscles relax. As we bring objects closer, as we read or we sit on a computer screen, our muscles contract. So this is the justification for when you are doing a lot of screen time. What do they tell you to do? You get that eye strain, right? They say look away every half hour, every 10 minutes, whatever it is you need. Look in the distance, look far away. And it's not just look, it's focus on something in the distance. Why? In order to focus on something, to get a nice clean image, your muscles have to relax to thin that lens. And so you relax those ciliary muscles and are able to thin that lens so you can focus and get a little relief from that eye strain. Okay, so that's the idea of accommodation and how we're able physiologically to look at something close and to look at something far away given the optics. Good job.